Okay, hello everybody, how are you? Well, today we are starting Unit 3, as I said in the audio, and Unit 3 is devoted to word stress. In this case, the idea of word stress is related to how a syllable is structured. So we are going to go deeper in that during these classes, but first we need to understand the concept of syllable before we start going with word stress. We have discussed in the first audio, in the previous audio, some general characteristics of word stress and why it is important to understand the concept of syllable. Okay? Well, so what you need to know, or what you're going to do, is to read page 23 in your booklet and try to understand the main concept. Yes, here in the introduction you will see that I pointed out that we are not going to talk about letters. We are not dealing with the case of normal spelling. Yes, we are not dealing with that. Okay? We are not dealing with that. We are not dealing with letters in general. Let me mark that because we are not dealing with normal spelling. We are talking about sounds, phonemes, and segments. Yes? The syllable is a segment made out by a consonant and a vowel. Remember that we have seen this idea of consonant and vowel together. But now we're going to systematize that, okay? Sometimes we can have a consonant and a vowel together, or sometimes we can have a vowel and a consonant, or a consonant, vowel, consonant. So we have different formulas to follow in the sense of the structure of a syllable, okay? But what you need to know in this first part is that there is a distinction that is set from the phonetic point of view and from the phonology point of view, sorry, it's a tongue twister. Phonetically, when we have to describe, yes, a syllable, phonetically, let's mark it out here. When we have to describe a syllable, we talk about the airflow. So, we can observe that the flow of speech typically consists of an alternation between a vowel-like state, that is, where the vocal tract is open and without any obstruction, and a consonant-like state, where there is an obstruction to the airflow. For example, when you say a word as no, you have the consonant n and the diphthong o, okay? So for there you have a consonant-like state. That means that there is an obstruction and the air goes through your nose. Okay, something happens inside of your vocal apparatus and the air goes through your nose. And when you produce the diphthong made up by two vowels, O, there is no obstruction. The air goes out freely. So again, phonetically, in a syllable you can find a vowel state, a vowel like state, that is no obstruction, airflow going out freely, and also you can find in a syllable a consonant-like state, that is obstruction to the airflow. Silences and pauses are to be regarded as being of consonantal types. That means that consonants have silence and pause according to its production. Okay? So from the speech production point of view, I mean, when you have to produce, to say something, a word as no, a syllable consists of a movement from a constricted, obstructed, or silent state to a vowel-like state in which there is no obstruction. You go from an obstruction with the consonant when you say no, you move from this to a free air stream when you say O, no obstruction, okay, O. From the acoustic point of view, let me see if I can mark it, yes, thanks, Mr. PDF. This means that the speech signal shows a series of peaks of energy. That is how you perceive. Remember that acoustic is how you perceive. So when you say a syllable as no, yes, no, the part, O part, they have different peaks of energy, yes? And then if you put that inside a sentence, or if you said no as an answer in different ways, for example, if you are surprised, no. If you are angry, no, for example, the energy peak is different, okay? So from the acoustic point of view, how you perceive it, this means that speech signal shows a series of peaks of energy corresponding to the vowel. The vowel is the energy, separated by throbs of lower energy, when there is a depression of energy, okay? But as regards phonology, yes, phonology are more systematic, and they want to have the structure of the syllable. So they are interested in the structure of the syllable since there appear to be interesting observations they have observed that there is some kind of formula in which phonemes may occur at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end from different types. The study of sequences or phonemes is called phonotactics. This is not so important, so don't worry if you don't remember. I mean, it's just a detail, it's just some kind of fact. And it seems that the phonotactic possibilities of a language are determined by syllabic structure. Phonological, let's go by the phonological point of view, phonological treatments of syllable structure usually call the first part of the syllable the onset, the middle part the peak, and the part at the end part the coda. The combination of peak and coda is the rhyme. Okay, so let's go through that because I think maybe it's some kind of confusing. From the phonetic point of view, we have described that there is the airflow involved there. There is obstruction, then there is no obstruction. In a word, for example, as about, where you start with a vowel, you have first no obstruction, then you have obstruction, then you have no obstruction of the airflow. It depends, and then you have at the end about. So, phonetically, they concerned about the airflow, but phonologically, they try to define the structure of the syllable. So, the first part of the syllable is the onset, the middle part is the peak, and the part of the end is the coda. Yes, the coda is when the obstruction ends, and when you have the peak and the coda together, let's mark the peak. I don't know why it is not marked, it is not highlighted. Well, maybe I forgot when I prepared the booklet. Onset, peak, and coda are general names for the syllable, okay? In a word as known, you have the as the onset, okay? As the onset, and peak O, the vowel, okay? You don't have a coda there because you don't have another consonant next to it, okay? Okay, so let's give some examples. Let me see if I can write here in this white part. Let's make some kind of, let's erase this so I can use it as a board, okay? Okay, let's use it as a board. So we were saying the different part of the syllable structure, okay? So onset, peak, and coda are part of the structure of the syllable. So let's have some kind of example. In a word as bar, let's bar, okay? Bar, you have here, in this case, you have, let me mark it, two components. You have the onset, the B is the onset, and the vowel is the peak. Okay? In a word, for example, oct or ease, let's go with ease, this one. Ease, here. In this case, you don't have an onset, you don't have a consonant before the vowel, yes, but you have a coda, okay? So, let's mark it like this, and let's write. In this case, you have the peak, and here you have the coda. But sometimes you can have both, or the three things. Of course, always the peak, but you can have an onset and a coda too. For example, in a word as sad. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't write the normal spelling of this. Okay. So let's go with the word as pen, not as sad because I don't have the IPA in my keyboard here. But let's think about a word as pen. So let me mark what are the components, the structure that you have here. You have here 3 elements, okay? So, as you may know, or you may think, this is the P, is the onset, the E is the peak, and the N is the coda. Peak and coda, the combination of both is called the rhyme, okay? Syllables are claimed to be the most basic unit of speech. That's why a one-syllable word as no or yes is a basic unit of speech. It's a one-syllable word. Every language has syllables, and babies learn to produce syllables before they can manage to say a word, yes, on their native language. If you suffer of aphasia or any problem in your brain after an accident or whatever, you will see that the composition of consonants is, in a way, the organization of consonants is in a way preserved. Yes, you tend to put consonants and vowels together. So you're going to work with this activity, with this theory and this activity. So the idea is that you read first the theory and then you do the activities. But I will be with you working with some of the most important concepts here. Okay? Well, okay. So we were here and we have to deal with this concept of the structure of the consonant. In this part of the booklet, you will see that you can have syllables from different types. You can have, for example, consonant vowel, that is onset peak, vowel consonant, or consonant vowel consonant. So here you have some examples. Examples as go, my, no, way, if, egg, ice, 8, 10, nose, mouth, knife. Okay, there you have different type of syllables. It is important to remember that letters are not the same as sounds. Yes, for example, wa and ya on letters W and Y are not consonant sounds. If they are semi-vowels, remember. If they come after the vowel, in the syllables as so, or say, they are part of another vowel sound. In the case of say, they are part of the diphthong. Okay, but this is as regards spelling. Here are some examples that, for example, in some accents in the southeast of England, the same is true for the consonant letter R. For example, car, you don't say car, okay? Some people use the word syllable to talk about the part of the written word, but in this book and in this class, the word syllable is used to talk about the pronunciation of words, not the writing. For example, in writing, we can divide chocolate into 3 parts. Chocolate. I mean the same. But when we say the word, we pronounce only 2 syllables. Chocolate. Chocolate. The dot shows where the 2 syllables are divided. So we have 2 A number of, and this is something that you can find in the dictionary, okay, there is no other word. A number of words, other words, may be pronounced with fewer syllables than in writing. For example, general. It's not general, it's general. It's not different, different. It's not comfortable, it's comfortable. Interesting. Secretary. Okay? So the first syllables in this one have the same three sounds, but in the opposite order. For example, kitchen, chicken. You see? Okay. If a sentence has similar sound like this one, it may be difficult to say, and these sentences are called the time twisters. Okay? So Rachel checked chicken in the kitchen. Rachel checked chicken in the kitchen. Let's say Rachel checked chicken in the kitchen. Rachel checked chicken in the kitchen. Okay. Okay, so you will do the activity. Okay? In this first activity, what you have to do is to classify the three different type of words with the three different syllables. One syllable, aunt, two syllables. In the second one, you have to see how it is structured. For example, in the word as high, you have a consonant and a vowel. In the word as rise, you have a consonant, vowel, consonant. And the same, that is everything in the middle, there is a vowel. But for 21.4 and for 21.5, there is something different. In this first one, you have to read the text aloud, record your voice, then listen to the recorder. Did you say the same number of syllables in the underlined words as on the recording? So what I care is that you start working with these words that are said here, some of them, okay? So you have to pay attention because you have to say them in the same amount of time. I went to an interesting restaurant on Wednesday. First I had chicken with a lot of different vegetables, remember? Then I had a piece of chocolate. So be careful. Record yourself reading this and try to pay attention to the underlined word, okay? In the sense of how they are pronounced similarly to what you have here, okay? So do this and send the recording for this. This is the only thing that you have to send from this task, okay? And in this case, you will listen. I will post the listening. No, I won't post the listening. I have decided now. You will do it by your own, and when we correct the activity next class, I will send you the listening for this. I will tell you the answer for this. Okay? So, she sells seashells on the seashore. Walter walked towards the waiter. Betty bought a better bit of butter. The fat cat sat on the bed's wet hat. That was difficult. Okay, so try to understand and try to find the syllables here and write it there, and then we will correct. Okay? As a second task, you have to go to your consonant unit in the English pronunciation. Use the same as you had checked. Remember the unit of the backpack. Okay, in the same unit, you have unit 4, rice and rice, in which you have to see the difference between s and okay? Zoo, zoo, zoo. Rise, rise. Shave, save, shave. Thing, thing. Sad, city, science, screen. Glasses, concert, lost, bus, plane, cut. It's 6 or 7 years since your sister sang that song. It's 6 or 7 years since your sister sang that song. Then you have the as a B, okay? Zoo, zoo, zoo. Place, place. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Days. Zoo, zero, lazy, easy. Season, theory and do this activity, okay? I will send the audio, A17 and N18 in the phone, okay? And maybe A16, so you can watch it. Okay? Well, you don't have to send this. We're going to correct them next class, okay? Well, see you soon. Bye-bye.